Hamas is also part of a regional alliance that includes Syria and the Lebanese group Hezbollah, which opposes U.S. policy toward the Middle East and Israel. One of the strongest supporters of Hamas is Iran, a country considered a rival of Israel. For decades, Iran has provided weapons, technology, and helped Hamas build armed capabilities that could penetrate deep into Israeli territory. How does Hamas make money? Hamas is said to have an operating budget of about $300 million. This force makes money through fake charities, taxes, smuggling, money laundering and virtual currency. According to Insider, participating in a military conflict costs a lot of money. However, Hamas forces still find a way to confront Israel, a country that receives nearly $4 billion in military aid each year from the U.S. Hamas has two main components, social services and military. The social services side is very successful in raising funds, which are then transferred to military purposes. The operating budget of this organization falls about $300 million, said Mr. Victor Asal, director of the Center for Policy Research, India. Fake charity organization. Hamas has long been associated with many charitable foundations operating under the guise of supporting struggling people in the Gaza Strip. In fact, there are still some funds that actually help Palestinians access medical services and essential goods, but most are fronts for Hamas's military activities. In 2003, the U.S. Treasury Department listed 5 different charities, from England, Switzerland, Austria, Lebanon, and France, as terrorist organizations because of their support for Hamas. In 2009, the U.S. Department of Justice convicted the leader of the charity foundation Holy Land Relief and Development, HLF, for links to Hamas. Support from Iran. Mr. Matthew Levitt, a former FBI intelligence expert, said that in addition to money earned from fake charity funds, support from Iran is Hamas's main source of revenue. Each year, Hamas receives about $70 to $100 million from Iran. For Iran, supporting Hamas allows them to increase their influence in the Middle East without having to directly conflict with Israel, Mr. Levitt said. Previously, the Israeli government had accused Iran of providing Hamas about $100 million a year. In 2021, the U.S. State Department also reported that Hamas was funded with weapons by Iran and some Gulf countries. Tax collection, investment, and smuggling. According to Mr. Levitt, Hamas's ability to make money from its activities in the Gaza Strip has increased significantly in recent years. This force controlled anything that crossed their borders and taxed it. Hamas taxes everything, from the tunnels used to smuggle goods from Egypt, to the money used to pay Gaza government employees, Mr. Levitt said. Taxes have become Hamas's largest source of revenue recently, surpassing the amount of support from Iran. In 2021, Hamas earned about $12 million per month from Egyptian goods imported into Gaza. This force then uses tax money to invest in real estate and mining projects in the Middle East and Africa. Money laundering and virtual currency. To circulate its cash flow, Hamas relies heavily on commercial money laundering and digital currency trading activities. This option makes it difficult for Hamas's activities to be tracked and not suspected. Compared to $100, the same amount of food can enter the Gaza Strip with less attention, Mr. Levitt said. After Hamas suddenly attacked Israel on October 7, the U.S. government pledged $100 million in humanitarian aid to the Palestinian people. However, the Wall Street Journal believes that most of this money will fall into the hands of Hamas, because this organization controls all activities in the Gaza Strip. It is very difficult to control the flow of humanitarian aid money. Hamas can use it for military purposes instead of providing necessities to the people, said Alex Zerdin, a former U.S. Treasury Department official. The reason why Hamas attacked Israel on October 7. Khalid Kadomi, a spokesman for Hamas, said that the force carried out the military operation in response to atrocities that Palestinians have faced for decades. We want the international community to stop the atrocities against the Palestinian people in Gaza. This is why the battle started, Kadomi said. Meanwhile, Hamas military commander Mohammed Deif called the recent attack Operation Storm Al-Aqsa, the purpose of which was to retaliate for Israel's desecration of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This person also accused Israel of killing and injuring hundreds of Palestinians this year, and called on other groups to join the fight. Hamas's military power. A report by the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said that Hamas has a fighting force of about 50,000 people and possesses a huge warehouse of missiles of many different types. Since 2014, Hamas has focused on developing its air force, mainly unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, for reconnaissance, remote attacks, and suicide attacks. Hamas's greatest military achievement is the successful development of the Q missile model Assam-1. This missile can carry 60 kilograms of explosives and fly within a radius of 2 to 3 kilometers. After that, Hamas continued to improve Qassam-1 to the Qassam-2, Qassam-3, and Qassam-4 models. The accuracy and destructive power of these short-range missiles increase significantly with each upgrade. Thanks to the experience of producing Qassam-1, Hamas is now able to produce its own J-89, 80 km range, and R-160, 160 km range, missiles. In addition, this force also successfully tested a number of air-to-ground missiles, creating an advantage for infantry in urban combat.